Hi, everybody. Danny J here from the DJB Productions Network. It's another episode of Capes Not Included. We're back for 2020. Took a little time off, but man, are we coming back with a great show because we're talking about the CW's presentation of Crisis on Infinite Earths. What a great series it was, a tremendous crossover. We're going to talk about all the implications. We're going to talk about all the different little spoilers and little eggshells that we had in there and everything like that. It's going to be great. As always, joined today by my good friend, LeGrand Jackson.
What's up?
What's up? And then
how you been, man?
I'm been good. I've been very well. And then the host of New Comic Book Wednesdays, right here on the DJB Productions Network, Bobby T. Bob Taylor, everybody.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
What's up? What's up?
Yo, what's that?
Guys, what a great show we had. LeGrand, you're not in frame. What a great show we had.
Right now,
looking at that monitor.
Move to your right. Move to your right.
no, I'm trying to get the TV because I'm trying to pick up the comics and cartoons and stuff. You know what? You're right. Maybe I'll just.
I want to see you.
This.
I want to
All
see
right.
you.
So
chocolate love.
you gotta look at the alcohol that's in the background.
You know what? I'm good with it. It's all good.
Okay.
So everybody knows on the CW with the Arrowverse, there's a big crossover event each year. It's become an anniversary type of thing. Quite frankly, how they're going to top this one, I do not know, because it was a big one. They had Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I know how they're going to top it. I'm going to tell you.
Well, we're going to get to that.
If anybody saw the last episode.
Yes. You watch. And I had some theories about how they can do something too as well. First of all, let's talk about, before we even get into the actual show, let's talk about what Crisis was, first off. And with Crisis in the comic book realm, things were getting very convoluted. There were multiple origin stories. There were multiple versions of the same characters. And for a time, it was a way to sell comics. It's if you're getting bored of Supergirl, check out Supergirl in this universe, and she's doing this and that. It's a whole brand new story, which does not mess up the current story that we have for her in that example.
Correct.
So once it got really, really convoluted, the writers and everybody were saying, hey, you know what? We need to streamline this down. We got to lay some people off. We got to do something because this shit is crazy, and we can't even keep up with it ourselves as writers, okay? So what do? They create an event which destroys almost everything that they've done up until that point, and then streamlines it down into one universe, one comic. What you see is what you get. I hope you like it. Fantastic.
If not, tough shit.
Tough shit.
It was actually really clever, too, if you think about it, because it was finally a way to have all the superheroes in one place at one time.
Exactly. Which is awesome.
Instead of crossing over into each book, and it was almost like a world's finest.
Yeah.
Until they destroyed all the multiverse.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? It gave them an opportunity to say, you know what? This version of this character was better than this version. So we're going to let this version survive instead of this one.
Oh, so man, there was so much awesome shit in this fucking series.
So it's like it gave me an opportunity. It gives the writer an opportunity to restart certain characters in a better light, whereas certain characters didn't have to change. Like Superman is somebody that really, within reason, could stay the same throughout everybody. He was a pretty straight up character where it was. But certain characters translated for the time that they came out, but then slowly but surely grew out of touch with the readers because of how they were originally set up based on the time frame they were set up in. So this gave them an opportunity to say, all right, you know what? We're going to make Wonder Woman a little bit more badass than she was this time. So this is the Wonder Woman we're going to go with versus that one, and so on and so forth. And it gives you that opportunity to kind of like narrow down stuff and make it so that we have the best of the best. The cream always rises to the top, and that's what they wanted, right? So The one thing that I think, and Bobby, you could, being a major comic book guy, you could probably attest to this. Nobody who's heavily into comics is ever truly satisfied with a video rendition of anything.
This is true.
Okay.
And as much as I loved this crossover, I have a few serious things that like really screwed with my head.
Yes.
Like first off, I mean, Oliver Queen
Yeah.
becomes the Spectre.
Yeah, I know. I never have.
I have a serious qualm with this whole CW. Every series they ever made, just because of the fact that they keep dick fucking us with the Green Lantern.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, I know.
In the comic books, when Jim Corrigan decided to give up the mantle of the Spectre, he gave it to Hal Jordan.
Yes.
Right.
Okay? And these CW series keep screwing with us. They keep giving you hints of Green Lantern's oncoming. Like there was an episode of The Flash a couple seasons ago where Barry had to get all the rogues on an island to keep them safe. Right. And he had to take them all to one of Oliver's hangars, which was Ferris Aircraft.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? But there's still no Green Lantern. And I do not know why they will not add Green Lantern into the CW.
Go back to last year's crossover where John Wesley Shipp, who was a great Flash, by the way. It's an awesome Flash. He's our Flash for the television. He really
is.
But he comes on, and remember, he looks at Deagle and says, "Oh, I didn't recognize you with that. Your ring."
Right.
Because everybody's been wanting John Deagle to be John Stewart.
Well, but that's the thing. Deagle is John Stewart.
Yeah, because we find out later that he's the, I guess, adopted, I guess you would say, by his stepfather, who is General Stewart. So he's John Deagle Stewart. He just never took the Stewart name.
Right. Well, in the comic books, originally, when Abin Sur landed on Earth, the ring was, there were 3 individuals who were worthy of getting the ring. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner.
Yes.
The ring was originally supposed to go to John Stewart first, but he was too far away. So Hal Jordan was in the closest proximity. That is the reason he became Earth's Green Lantern first.
Okay. Say?
The ring was getting a little lazy, and it didn't feel like traveling that far.
Well, no, because Abin Sur was being pursued by Sinestro.
That's what happens when the ring uses Uber.
In order for the lantern to not be destroyed, it had to find the first closest host.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which happened to be Hal Jordan.
Now, if you notice, John Stewart's character, which is Spartan, took on a green mantle about itself in the most recent season.
Right.
We went from being black to brownish black to now he's got hints of green all over his suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're really, really pushing. Hey, John Deagle, we know what you're going to do. We know you do. It was the one thing I was hoping was going to happen. Even on the very last episode in part 5, I was hoping we would get some remnants of this. You know.
Well, remember at the end they were showing.
I read an article that said the reason they haven't incorporated Green Lantern into the CW universe yet is because his character would have to be constant CGI all the time. And it's just not cost effective.
Yeah, it's expensive. And not to mention HBO Max is going to actually have a Green Lantern series.
Yeah, I know.
A lot more budget, stuff like that. So hopefully we'll actually get something good out of that. Now, if you notice, and I think this is what you were about to allude to, LeGrand, is towards the end when he's going through all the different Earths to get up to Earth Prime, we see Green Lantern, we see Oa. That apparently was the Ryan Reynolds movie.
Right.
As far as that canonization into the Arrowverse. That was that movie. That it was Hal Jordan, it was, you know, what we saw in that movie from Warner Brothers. So I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, I kind of got that they were the Earths, but they're not the Earths anymore. Was that right? Did you get that out of that thing? Like there's Earth Prime and there's nothing else, or did those other Earths create in some way?
Well, there's also they alluded to Earth 99 that only exists in the future. So,
but were they destroyed? and they were just kind of paying homage to them.
Well, I think personally they talked about the vanishing point.
Yes.
Mhm.
Earth 99 exists in the vanishing point.
Okay.
Right.
Who was
So
on that Earth, by the way? Do you
what's that?
remember- Who was on that Earth, by the way? Do you remember from the montage?
Um,
Was it Doom Patrol, or
yes.
what? It was Doom Patrol,
Doom-
right?
Yes.
Great
Doom
show.
Patrol was on that. The Justice Society was on another Earth
Yes.
because that's
Uh,
where Stargirl and everybody was.
which she's getting
Right.
her own series, if
Right.
you remember.
Yes.
Titans was on 19, I think, or something. I can't remember which ones were which. But I know Titans was included on there. Swamp Thing was included on there,
Right.
Yes.
which was by far one of the best TV series that came out last year. And it's a
Oh
shame.
yeah,
it's
I'll,
canceled.
I'll agree with that. It was really well done.
Oh, it was so well done, and I'm really I'm really.
And it kind of kept true to the actual comics.
It did. It really, really did, and the acting was superb, and it was just the actor that played Swamp Thing. He was a Jason Voorhees in a
Right.
couple movies, yes, which was kind of cool. But that was such a great thing with that series. But I liked how they canonized everything, and I loved how they even brought in Ezra
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
to canonize the Justice League movie with
What
the
I
Arrowverse.
love the most is the way they brought in Brandon Routh to
Yeah.
finish up Christopher Reeve's storyline.
Yes.
He even said it. This is not the first time I went crazy and fought myself.
Yes. Yes. Because that was, well, in all essence, they never really say it, but Superman Returns was a direct sequel to Superman 2.
Right.
So, yeah, so they cut out 3 and 4 as far as the, what was in there. I mean, I liked 3. I didn't mind 3 at all. It was nice to see him fight somebody different, but that was
Hey,
a
man, it was Richard Pryor's first foray into the DC universe.
Yeah, I know, right? And I thought he was funny as shit in the movie. You know what I mean? I was like, all right. And I like, what was that? Who was that? Richard Vaughn? Is that the guy that was the bad guy?
Robert Vaughn.
Robert Vaughn. There you go.
Vaughn.
Yeah. Oh God, he's such a great actor. I loved him. But I love how they got everybody together. Now, getting back to what Bob you were saying, like I had some problems with stuff too. I kind of knew that it's going to revolve around Oliver because they're getting rid of his show. Okay?
Right.
So, I mean, there's writer's embellishment, and this is what we have to do. And I think they gave him a great send off. I really, really.
Yeah, so did I, but I just didn't like the fact that I mean,
He didn't
you
have to die
know,
twice.
I live off of canon. And this is not canon at all.
No, it's not. But it's Arrowverse, so it's its
Right.
own thing. You know what I mean? But I don't think he had to die twice. I think that kind of was wasteful when they killed him in like episode 2 or something like
Right.
that.
The second, the death of him as Spectre was ridiculous
In what
Right.
way?
because
Well, he didn't
he's
really
already-
do anything. He's dead. I know.
he's already, he's already dead. The Spectre was created
That's
by
what made
God
it-
himself.
That's what made it bad for me because of the fact that and granted, they did this to get everybody in. We need to get Lucifer in. We need to get this one and that one in, right? So what do? He dies. They put him in the fucking Lazarus pit, right? And then they say, all right, we got to get his soul back. So Constantine goes to Lucifer. Great scene because I love Lucifer. What a great show that is, too, by the way.
That's a great show.
Oh, my God. Such a great show. And he uses up a favor. Lucy.
Black people don't mess with the devil.
What's right? I know you're a white guy. There's all white people in there.
Black people don't mess with the devil. I'm sorry.
But what a great show, though, dude. It's always a great show. There's black people on there. I think 1 or 2, not many. But it's like,
If you think about it,
well, what's her name?
it makes
Black.
sense that the devil's white.
How's that?
Because in the Bible, and I hate to get biblical
Oh yeah,
here,
go ahead.
Jesus is described as hair of wool, feet of ash.
Yeah.
So it dictates that Jesus could have been black. So if Satan is the anti of Jesus,
Oh, you're
Satan would
right.
be white, Jesus would be black.
There you go. See, White Devil.
I wasn't even going that far into it.
Which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Freeland in a little bit. So we'll talk about the White Devil in a second. But
Oh,
what I was going to say is
the whale.
what I.
Tobias,
The whale.
Hey, Tobias needs to lead the Legion of Doom. That's all I'm saying, dude. That guy is great. No, but what I was going to say is that he uses up a favor from Lucifer to get into that realm. They bring him back to Purgatory, which is Leon Yu, and nothing comes from it. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They go to Leon Yu, and nothing comes from it. He meets the former Spectre, who, by the way,
was in it for like a second.
Has no introduction.
Right.
None.
At
He
first,
walks on screen, his eyes turn green. I'm the Spectre.
Yeah.
Well,
Not even special effects.
I did like the fact that he told you that I was once a police officer, blah blah blah, blah. You know. So,
it seemed forced. You know what I mean? Like at first I thought that. No, I thought that was what's his face, the best friend that died.
Oh, okay.
You know, I thought that was him at first because he sported a beard and mustache a few seasons back when he came back in like an episode or something like that. But yeah, he comes in there and like you don't know who the fuck that guy is. He tells you who he is. Oh, I'm this, and I'm a cop, and I'm the Spectre. Well, what the fuck is the Spectre? I don't know. You're not showing me anything to say what a Spectre is. And then Ollie, who fights everything, is just like, all right, yeah, okay, I'm good. Hey guys, I got to do this. By the way, I'm going to be the Spectre. Like he's like totally cool with this. What happened to his soul not being there? What a waste of a favor from Constantine.
Right.
Okay. And then at least when he came back as the Spectre, okay, they could have did a little CGI on him to make him a little ghostly looking.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, why is he showing up looking like a regular dude?
He looked like the Arrow.
I'm like, why does he have the fucking green robe and the white face and the
right?
Dude, at the very least, give him the white contact lenses or something to make
just to make him a little supernatural looking. I mean, like, give me something. He looked like Ollie.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know.
J. Crew.
He's a little off. He's a little off. He's dead. Yeah, stay from J. Crew. Little. You know what I mean? But like, you know, but like that kind of bothered me a little bit.
Was anybody else bothered by the fact that we were teased with Batman and then he just wasn't there?
And it was a broken down.
You bring in Conroy, who's like everybody's iconic voice of Batman through the 90s, 2000, and so forth and so on. You put him in a bullshit bodysuit.
Yeah.
With, like Domo Arigato, Mr. Bato, and fights his cousin.
Yeah.
And she smokes him.
Easily. Because he looked like he
killed Superman and he can't choke her out. She's barely 95 pounds.
He looked like he was the Spectre. Kevin Conroy don't look that great. I mean, let's face it. I mean, like he looked like a ghostly skeleton man. He was like Jack Skeleton, if anything. No plays a good Bruce Wayne though. The guy on Titans. Have you seen him?
Yes.
I don't know the guy's name. The guy who plays Bruce Wayne on Titans season 2. He's a great Bruce Wayne. He's an older Bruce Wayne. He looks great. You know,
dude, I was praying it was going to be Affleck.
That would have been great, wouldn't it?
That would be fucking awesome.
Everybody would have been like, "Fuck you, CW, I'm out." You know what I mean? But I liked him as Batman. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I did like say this about Affleck. He is my favorite Batman for one reason. Through all the Batman incarnations there have been over the years, I have always either liked the actor as Batman or Bruce Wayne. There's never been an actor I liked in both roles. Michael Keaton loved his Batman, didn't like his Bruce Wayne.
Really?
Now, yes, because he didn't look like Bruce Wayne. Okay. George Clooney loved as Bruce Wayne, hated as Batman.
And what's his name was a better Batman than Bruce Wayne? Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer didn't look like Bruce Wayne at all. But fucking when did you ever see a fucking Batman with blonde hair?
Right. But he looked great as Batman. I thought he was a good Batman. I thought he was a good Batman.
Fucking the other dude, the fucking
yeah. Swear to me.
Yeah, that dude.
Christian
Fucking
Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. His name escaped me. The costume, okay, blah, blah, blah. The voice, horrible. And as Bruce Wayne, he was sad and miserable. I want to see millionaire playboy Bruce Wayne.
I didn't like the costume.
I didn't like the. I don't. There was something off. It was too armory looking.
You know what it was too? I thought that he didn't have a neck. Like in a sense that his neck wasn't built out. His head went into like an egg shape. Then he had a little neck, and I was like, ugh, he looks like a skinny dude.
Now Affleck, great as Bruce Wayne. The sounded awesome as the Bat, and the suit was the Frank Miller suit. Was the best.
Yep.
Yes. And you know what? For everybody's information, when we say Affleck, we mean Affleck. We're not talking about that duck that gives you insurance. Not the duck that gives you insurance. That sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
Man, they're gonna break your ass. Affleck.
Swear to me. Would you please swear to me? Don't swear. But we're getting back to Crisis. Here's some cool things, or here's some things to note that a lot of people are kind of noticing, but they're not noticing. They really copied Marvel's Infinity War Endgame formula.
Oh,
by splitting up, because normally
they had to.
The crossover is all done in 1 week. Boom, 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 right in order. They didn't have to change any order of any episodes off, that type of thing. In this case, they gave us an Infinity War and an Endgame because we ended episode 3
in December.
And it was on a dire note. Like they lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They lost. And then they come back in these other 2 episodes and they win and blah, blah, blah.
Well, just like Endgame.
Even though it's biting a little bit, I was okay with that. You know what I mean? It gave you something to look forward to.
Basically what DC did, they did what Marvel did in the movies. They built all these shows from the beginning.
Yes.
Linking them all together one by one, just like Marvel did with the movies, starting out with Captain America back in the day. They just did it 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, they really were waiting to see if Marvel would fall on their face, and it just so happened that they didn't. And by the time that they decided, hey, you know what, this formula is working, they were too far behind. It would just be a second-rate show. Any movie they did, really. So, because that's why they rushed into it, and it was like, dude, you can't catch up that quick with 3 movies.
DC animation is phenomenal.
Which one? What, the television?
No, DC animated movies.
Oh, that's
great.
Marvel cannot make a good cartoon, but DC kicks ass with cartoons. DC can't make a good movie, but Marvel makes great movies.
They do.
But statistically and mathematically and financially speaking, DC, and I know this because I'm in the comic book world, DC outsells Marvel on the shelves every week in the comic book stores. And this goes back to what I said last time that Janie jumped on my head about. In my opinion, and many hardcore DC fans like myself, DC is the originator, the original, the individual, smooth criminal, dance a lot, dance a little, shuffle to the minimal. They created all of this, and Marvel bit off of them.
Yes.
Marvel is a huge cop-out. Okay, in my opinion, I love some of their characters, but only like their original 7 have storylines. Okay, everybody else in that universe is, how'd you get your powers? I was born this way. You know, because they're mutants. DC came up with the original storyline, the backstories, the origin stories, and they did it 20 years before Marvel.
Well, I mean, something to be said about Marvel, though, too, is that Marvel's characters were more grounded characters. They weren't as fantastic, for really lack of a better word. I mean, DC characters, if you look at it, and it can't do it justice, but to sum it up in one word, are very magical.
I could disagree with that highly.
Fantastic, fantastic,
dude. All right, for instance,
never-ending story.
Iron Man is Batman with more money because they wanted.
And whose parents weren't killed. He's Batman without the sadness.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But, you know, there's something to say about Tony Stark, though, because Tony Stark is like a guy who's a good guy, but a lot of times he does shit for the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah. So for selfish reasons.
Right. And it's like he's the hero of the day, but you kind of don't like him. You know
He's
what I
a
mean?
womanizing drunk asshole
Right.
with
Where
billions of dollars.
where Batman is also kind of an asshole, but with reason. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, you got to go through it all. The only person that I will say that possibly has any kind of awesome backstory from Marvel would be Peter Parker. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Superman, last son of a dying planet sent to Earth. Batman, family slaughtered in front of him, vows vengeance against criminals. Barry Allen, police scientist working in his lab one night, struck by lightning, embarks chemicals. Wonder Woman, Amazon. Okay,
Yeah, she's born. She was born that way. She's like a mutant.
yeah, but they're all like,
yeah.
comes from of an island with
But
no
I'll
men.
tell you though, here's the dynamic for Bruce Wayne. Though.
Though.
Here's the dynamic for Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's dynamic, when you really get down to the core of it, is that he walks a very fine gray line of becoming what he despises.
Absolutely.
Okay,
But
so
at the same time, he has to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. So he has to be just as dark as they.
Yeah, so he's got to take Zoloft. That's all.
But the thing that makes Batman phenomenal, besides the fact that his only power technically, besides the billions of dollars and the gadgets, is his will.
Yes.
And his will dictates that he will not cross that final line.
But you know what?
Let's been that way for decades.
Let's go to Flashpoint for a second. I find the Thomas Wayne alcoholic, I'm willing to kill Batman, a little bit more intriguing than Bruce Wayne.
Because you've been seeing Batman avoid death for so long that you're getting his dad, who's basically hunting down his mother.
Because his dad, Thomas Wayne, is basically the Punisher without Vietnam. Basically, that's what it is. You know, what I mean, that's what Thomas Wayne is. So
he has PTSD from watching his son die, and his wife go nuts.
Right. And you know what, though? Let me tell you something. If you want to get into the psychology thing, as a parent myself, I think I would be more distraught losing my child than losing my parent. And that sounds very odd because I love my mom's been gone for a number of years now. Miss her every day. My daddy's like my rock. I love him to death. But I think if something ever happened to my daughters, I would go off the deep end. In comparison, you know what I mean?
Of course, because
there's a psychological dynamic there.
Yeah, you helped create them.
Yeah,
you've helped rear them. You've nurtured, nourished, and everything for the past.
From you.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I kind of like Thomas Wayne, because I think I sympathize with him more. To say, because in that storyline, if you haven't look it up, but his wife becomes the Joker,
right?
And his son is the one who dies. And so he loses his family in that sense. He loses his confidant, his soulmate, and his child. I think that's more devastating than losing your parents after 10 years. You barely know them. That sounds very horrible.
Jesus Christ, man.
Sounds very horrible, I know. But like I did, you didn't have that much time.
You're a 10-year-old.
So
I've been banging your mother a lot longer than you've been around, kid. Let me tell you something. I'm losing more than you are.
Wow.
So when you die, you want your girls to be like, I didn't know him that long anyway.
I didn't know him that long.
Fuck him.
Screwball. That's screwball. I told my kids I want to go out like Johnny Wise mother. I want to fucking think I'm Spider-Man and just be running around a hospital in a costume and my ass out, just fucking trying to climb walls. That's what I want to do. If I could do that, I'll have a smile on my face right before I die. I swear to God.
I went out. I'm not going to comment on that.
I think you need to open one of the bottles behind you, man.
Yeah, right? Oh, I can do one, but I got one right.
But getting back to Crisis, here's the funny thing. My daughter is watching it, right? My daughter Bella's watching it with me. And it's the last episode. Okay. So now everybody's back and they're doing the montages and stuff like that. Somebody's jumping on here. Who is it? Matt Sutter.
No!
It's Matt
Hey!
Sutter. Look at this. He jumped
What's
on
up?
quickly. How lovely. Matt, it's the next day. I caught you up. Now we're talking about Crisis on Infinite Earth. Matt, did you ever watch that?
No, I have not.
All right, Matt. Well, I'm going to take you off. No, I'm just kidding. Stay on it. It's good. But
Put your headphones, Matt.
can you hear
Yeah,
us,
my
Matt?
headphones.
Can you hear
Hey,
us, Matt?
I just didn't have time to set up the studio. I was out with
Okay.
some friends, so I figured I'd jump on. Just I was doing it off the phone right now.
These guys want to brag he has friends, and we're doing this nerd comic book show. All right, very good. Whatever.
Well, screw
So,
you and your friends.
screw you and
I
your
got a
friends.
Oh, screw you
bar.
and your friends.
Yeah.
Hey, I was doing nerdy stuff. I was bowling. Come on now.
I was bowling.
That sound a little bit like exercise. I'm out.
I'm in a 2 foot by 3 foot studio here. You never know. No, but here's the deal. My daughter Bella, and this is really kind of funny, and Matt will really laugh at this, and LeGrand will too, because he really knows Bella. Probably you know Bella though too much, pretty good. Too.
Absolutely.
But she sat there and said, they did the one scene, and it's Kate, and it's Supergirl, and it's the sister, and she goes, "Well, I guess the lesbians found each other."
Oh man.
My daughter is me, just with like not the male parts. That's it. You know, she is
Oh,
me.
Jesus.
And she said that it was real quiet in the room. And she said we're all like watching it, and Christine's watching it with me, and then Bella's there, and Bella's like, "Well, the lesbians found each other on that planet."
Wow.
I said, "Oh my God!" She goes, "Leave it to the CW. We'll get them together." You know, it's like because that's the big running joke is that the CW, everybody's gay on the CW. Everybody on every show. On every show, somebody's gay. You know, so
Well, it's like they posted the picture of the two Flashes all hugged up with the leg on top, like they were having some kind of
yeah,
super
right.
fast coitus.
Come to you, I'll come to me. You know,
Better use a lot of lube.
lot
Oh, the friction!
of- so now
Oh.
they have
We
this
talk about hot sex, you know.
the final battle. I thought was pretty good. On episode, I mean, it was kind of funny they brought in the giant Bebo to tie in that. Oh, by the way, you're watching Legends of Tomorrow,
Right.
which is the joke of the entire Arrowverse. Unfortunately, that started off really, really well. I really liked it in the first season, and then it kind of lost its mark. I think I don't know why. It's still doing what it's doing.
It was the revolving door of characters that they kept playing with and not fleshing out the others.
Yeah.
You would start to get emotionally invested in something, and then all of a sudden, gone.
Yeah. And they said that they were going to use that as a vehicle to flush in other characters, but they don't do it as often.
No.
They really don't. And the one cop out was when the one girl who played the grandmother of who's that one? It's like a wild
Vixen.
Vixen, and it was the grandmother of Vixen.
Yes.
And she dies off, or whatever happened, or she goes back to Africa or something like that. And then they bring that actress back in as somebody else, and I was like, why would the shapeshifter stay in that form, that particular form? Couldn't get another actress, right? And then the other girl who had the same powers as Vixen, who was like the Israeli chick,
Yep.
who was kind of hot. I mean, she was kind of hot, but like,
The Ziva David of.
yes, I mean, but she was kind of pointless. You already have, like, you had two of them at the same time, and then she gets off. Now you have one girl with a totem. So you're like, all right, you got that Vixen power, which wasn't being utilized at all, by the way.
Right.
Much like the Atom was not being utilized at all. But he was another Iron Man ripoff, the way they did him on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Really? I think he's more of a Hank Pym ripoff.
in a way, yeah. But then remember, they did him in two different ways. He gets this Iron Man suit, which the Atom never had a suit like that. Okay,
No, actually he did, but
it
was
wasn't
like
that though.
no, he had a suit like that only when he was going into like corrosive environments.
Right, like it's like an
There you go.
adaptive like suit, but not like
Right.
his costume. You know what I mean? So he was, on all intents and purposes, an Iron Man that was likable, in a sense. But then they did that thing as soon as Civil War came out. Then they made him Giant Man for one episode.
Right.
Okay, It's a bite. Everybody bites. And then
Well, he was in Endgame. He was giant. He was giant in Endgame.
it was Giant Man, right? So, but it's kind of cool that they got the second Adam coming in, which is was it Dr. Cho? Is that his name? Cho.
Yeah.
Is that his name? He'll be the second one because Brandon Roth is getting off after this season.
Right.
Okay. It would have been great if he played Superman. If the Kingdom Come Superman became Superman. Although I like Tyler Hendrickson. Brandon Roth Superman, especially as Kingdom Come Superman, I thought was really, really good.
Dude, what about Tom Welling giving up his powers?
What was that about?
I was like, really?
What a jerk off. It's like, and he was just a brooding man. He just beat up Lex Luthor. He punched him in the face.
Right.
He's like, I don't even need powers to beat you up. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
And it's true, he didn't.
He really did. No, he didn't.
If you think about it, look at Tom Welling. He's like 6'4", 240.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get that,
dude.
And he's starting to get that old man muscle now. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna punch you right in the face and make your dick fall off.
Yeah.
When we first showed him, I was like, damn, he's been drinking a lot.
Right. Now
He didn't even highlight his hair or anything. He just, I'm gray now. Screw it.
I showed up.
This is what messes me up too, because Superman comes from Krypton and it's so far away. He gets the power of the planet, the sun, from the planet Sun. He ages differently than human beings. All right.
Right.
So he doesn't get gray hair. He only had gray hair in Kingdom Come because it took place in the distant future.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you look at any like Justice, any the things where it's like the year 3000, and he's got like that little like gray on the sides and stuff.
The gray wings.
Yes, you know what I mean. He's starting to look like Reed Richards a little bit. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But now here's something though that I thought was kind of cheesy. They had the girl that plays Lois on Smallville also play Kara's mother, which didn't make sense. When they first go to, and Tyler Hendrickson and that Lois, who she used to be on Grimm. That
right.
Just to interject here, I'm happy they finally made an ugly Lois again.
Yeah, right. I know.
Wow.
I mean, she's not bad looking, but she ain't like Smallville Lois.
Wow. I'm only playing when I say that. She's not bad looking. She's good looking. She's got a Courtney Cox kind of vibe.
She's not watching the show, so don't worry about Bobby.
No, she's got kind of a Courtney Cox kind of vibe to her. I retract ugly. Okay, but
I thought you were fucked up, Fred.
I'll retract the word ugly. She's not ugly. She's hittable. All right,
she's edible. She's had. I had 3 shots, and you're available.
Every Lois Lane has been like a fucking Superman.
Well, not
Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder back in the day wasn't bad looking.
Reminds me of Margot Kidder. That's why I said
that. I didn't think what's her name was that hot. The girl from Superman Returns, like she was okay.
I dug her,
but someone that was
she was beautiful.
She was okay. Yeah, I have a different choice. I like Smallville Lois. Smallville Lois was doing it for me.
But you don't look like Lois either. Going right back to the Christmas.
Well, you know who wasn't good looking?
No, blonde hair.
No, doesn't talk about the one from Man of Steel. She's not that good looking, and she looks annoying too. On top of it,
no, she's okay looking, man. I dig her.
I'll take all 4 of them. I don't care. I'll take Margot Kidder even when right before she died. I don't care.
Jesus Christ, Fred, you hear this shit?
All right, come here, Skeletor.
You're already in enough trouble with your Facebook posts with your wife.
Freddie,
she don't watch it.
Do you hear this shit?
Matt knows. My wife doesn't watch any of these shows. I'm free game and stuff.
Until he tries to do a new show, he has a black eye. She wasn't listening.
My attempt at blackface did not work. It's like, You know?
What are you, a mummer now? Stop it.
Right, I know, right?
That's wrong. That was worse than me calling the Lois ugly.
Right. There you go. So now, what else did we not like about this? I did not like. I thought Oliver's send off was pretty good. I think he deserved it. But now he's going to have one more episode, which is going to say how are they going to tie that in? Because obviously he's got to show back up again.
All this happened before all of that? I don't know. Personally,
or they could just hit you with a bogus ass flashback episode.
It could be.
yeah.
Or just like an end of Endgame where it's his funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be his funeral. They did pay homage to him at the Hall of Justice, the new Hall of Justice that they set up.
Well, I think that
Motherfucking Gleek. I can't wait.
Now, somebody said to me, I hope they follow through. And it's true. I hope they follow through and have one or two
conversation tonight. I think that's where all of these shows are going.
to a Super Friends or Challenge of the Super Friends.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm glad Black Lightning got incorporated. And I'm hoping, I was thinking about this because LeGrand and I have to talk about this. Freeland is a very bad neighborhood. Okay.
It's North Philly.
It's North Philly. And here's the thing. But my hope for Black Lightning, because I like the character. One, I hope in the upcoming season, maybe we get Static. Would be nice if we get Static.
Well, no, I don't think you're going to get Static.
They kind of hint to it, not on the show, but
No,
the
reason I say this is because, first off, Black Lightning was created for Challenge of the Super Friends. He didn't exist in the DC universe before.
No, he did. No, he did before. No. He did before. He did in the comics. Black Lightning existed right around the same time that Luke Cage came out, but they did not use Black Lightning in.
It was Black Vulcan.
Black Vulcan. They said we want to have that character, but we want to change his name.
Okay, now I want to say it had to be 15 years ago. You had Static Shock.
Yes, about 15 years ago. Yeah.
In that series, he gets one of the episodes. He gets a glimpse of his future.
Yes.
And in his future, he grows up to be Black Lightning.
Yeah, they don't really call him that, but you're right, he does.
So
he's there with Batman. He's there with Terry McGinnis. And stuff like that. Right. But you know what? They have an opportunity because they have those, not the Bang Babies, but they have those tube kids. They call them tube children. I don't know. You know, where
test tube babies.
Test tube babies of green light. You know, but here's the deal. Freeland has one white guy, and nobody bothers him at all because it's Uncle Gammy. Okay, but the problem
because if you go after Gamby, he'll smoke you.
Dude, he's an Italian, dude. He's an Italian with guns. You're not beating that guy up. Okay, I don't care how old he is. But here's the deal, though, and LeGrand knows I say this with a number of different things because I am not a racist person. My niece is black, so I'm not. Everybody knows me. I'm not.
You ready for this, Fred?
But I don't like bullshit. Fred, you ready for this? But here's the deal. They take the Black Lightning, and this past season, did you watch the whole season?
Yep.
Okay, did you watch the whole season of Black Lightning?
No. Honestly, I mean, I watch it, but I kind of fast forward through most of the shit and just watch the action parts because the show kind of fucking boring. It's boring in parts.
And you know why it is? Because instead of it being Black Lightning, this whole past season, they could have changed Jefferson out of there and put Harriet Tubman in. Because the whole thing was an underground railroad. That's all it was. And I said this in the first season. I said, all right, they're getting this. It's a black show. It's for a black audience. They're taking this opportunity to no, I said it. I said on the show.
No.
You know, and the problem is I don't have a problem if you take an episode and want to bring to light maybe a current scenario so you can put your basis out there. Many shows have done that over 30, 40 years. They've always have done that kind of thing, right? But when your whole season is obsessed with, oh yeah, by the way, we got some super guys here, but you know what? We gotta keep our brothers together, and blah, blah, and it's just it was like a very blacks not liking and trusting whites. The cops are bad. The people are oppressed. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, come on, now stop. Black Lightning has better villains than what he's getting. Okay, I would like somebody to go to Freeland with no racial scenario and just say, hey, I just want to rob things. Oh, Black Lightning's going to fight me. Here we go. Now we're going to fight. You know what I mean? Like, that would be just entertaining, and you get to see his power, stuff like that. This whole season has been an Underground Railroad scenario, except they're using metas instead of slaves or blacks or whatever time frame you want to use it for. But it was getting annoying to me because I'm like, all right, dude, I get it. Can he fight somebody yet? Can he fight somebody? Because like Anissa, who's hot as hell, she is so hot. But she's an annoying bitch. She doesn't listen to anything.
Well, basically, what you're saying is the show lacks super villains.
It really does, and I think they're taking too much liberty with saying we're going to take this platform and we're going to put out a. What am I trying to say, LeGrand? We're putting out a
socially conscious, overkill, overdone, blah blah blah.
There you go.
Right.
He just said it. That's what it is.
He fights street gangs and politicians, where there are no super powered villains for him to fight. When he
Tobias Whale.
Yeah, I know.
He's great, but you know what? After a while, all right, Tobias, I get it that you don't like blacks or whites. Okay, thank you. What else can you do for me? You know, I got to say that too, because it's like he is
a hole in your chest.
He is a mastermind, and he's like a gang leader type of thing. So I kind of like that. But I think it makes Black Lightning and his kids, Thunder and the other one, which is Lightning 2 or whatever the fuck she calls herself, it makes them kind of like we're the B team. You know how, like, if you watched Marvel's Netflix shows,
I'm gonna stop you right there, dude.
Yeah,
Black Lightning and was always the B team.
Well, and I get that, but you know what? This is the CW. I want to see him do a little bit more than that, based on his powers. I mean, because legit, somebody that could fry you like a light.
You know what, Danny? Make a show featuring Black Lightning, Apache Chief, and Samurai. Let's see who watches.
My wife, when she saw the Anti-Monitor become a giant,
let's go diversity.
She goes like, we need some of Nick. My wife says we need some of Nutchuck in this motherfucker, right? And she's like, where's the giant Indian to chop this guy in the head? I said, I know, right? I said he's on the Multicultural Pals. You ever see that?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
The French tickler, you know, it's like, and stuff like that. But Black Lightning, I really honestly hope that they get past the racial thing, and now it's just like, all right, there's metas around, they're doing things that are not racially biased or whatever, and we got to stop them. It's a working formula. I come to your town, I want to rob you, you're going to stop me. I come to your town, I want to kill you, you stop me. I mean, that's all I really need out of a superhero show, in all honesty. You know? But
that's all you need. But I'm going to play advocate. Because normally I'm the asshole who doesn't give a shit about anything.
I know you did. That's right.
Play an advocate. You finally get an opportunity that you haven't had for years on a very grandiose scale, other than Black Panther.
Yeah.
That you get to see a black hero doing good in the community, so forth and so on, trying to fight corruption. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
More stuff that we would see regularly on a day-to-day basis, because you can walk out your door and see drug dealers. You can listen to your politicians, your local politicians, talking all this outrageous bullshit, how they're going to help you, and they ain't going to do a goddamn thing but line their pockets. You can see that somebody's trying to battle it on that scale. And in inner city urban environments, that's something that sells, because that's something that they want to see.
Here's the problem I have with it, though. All right. The people, what's that group that Gamby was in, and that's who they're fighting?
It's basically the CIA, but go
ahead. But whatever they're called, right? I forget what they're called. NSA or something like that. Right? First of all, they're all white people, except for that one guy. There's that one black guy who's a meta. And he's kind of jealous of Black Lightning in a way, but they're all white guys, right? Then the principal that replaces Jefferson is an angry white dude. Why did that have to be an angry white dude? I mean, come on, couldn't be a Chinese
Well,
guy. Couldn't be an
remember,
Indian.
initially he was replaced by the black woman,
Yeah, but she
but then
was dead.
she got killed.
Yeah, because she was fucking around with Tobias, and he don't like anybody, right? So then you got that, right? So you got the white principal fighting against him. Couldn't be a sympathetic black guy say, "Hey, dude, I know it sucks, but get out of my office." It couldn't be like that, right? It's got to be. He's every adversary he gets on a non-super level is a white guy. I was like, all right, come on, it's getting a little much, right? I'm not getting offended, but I'm like, all right, dude, all right, you said your point. Yeah, I'm getting over it, right? So then what was the thing? Then oh yeah, he gets beat up. They're under that occupation, right? They're to give you an explanation, Matt. They're in this season. They're under martial law in a sense, and everybody, and they're trying to get the metas, all the superhero people, because they're gathering them all up, and they're saying it's for their own good, but it's like there's a lot of bad shit going on, right? But he's out inside in front of. Now this is a well trusted member of the community. Jefferson is a light in an otherwise crappy fucking neighborhood, right? And this motherfucker gets beat up by 3 white dudes that are part of the NSA. Kick the shit out of him right in front of the school, right? Because he was talking back. He's protesting, and they beat the shit out of him. Now, in reality, superpowers or not, I'm getting on the horn of my lawyer, and I'm suing somebody. That didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't sue anybody. He didn't fight back. He took it as if it was like 1750 or something like that, and like he had no way of fighting back. You know what I mean? Like, this is the
like if
2000s.
if I fight back, I'm gonna be dead instead of beat up. Yeah.
Why couldn't he bring it into like and when you're watching it, it's like the only people reporting on anything bad are black people. You know what I mean? I'm like, this show it's frustrating the hell out of me because I'm like, we're not all bad. Now, I'm not white. I'm Italian. There's a difference. Matt, you're white, I think.
Yeah,
I think you're white. You're white. You're Scottish or whatever.
I'm as white as I get.
Irish, English, Scottish.
Yeah, you're the one they're fighting, Matt. It's you. It's not me.
I'm right there with you, Matt. I'm Irish, English, German, and a Pennsylvania Dutch.
There you go. Nobody likes Pennsylvania Dutch.
There you go.
Bullshit. They got some of the best birch beer on the fucking planet. Them sons of bitches.
You know it.
But my hope is that we will lose the racial overtone. We will gain some more superhero stuff. We'll be able to see what Black Lightning can really do. Because quite frankly, if he's going to join this new Justice League, which is what they're imposing at the end of Crisis, I want to see him be able to step it up.
Well, basically, he ain't got shit else left to do. His family's dead.
Yeah,
but his family now, he's got a family on. I want to see how they're going to do this because it's renewed, and his family's now on this Earth Prime.
Are they, or is there on this Earth?
It's some semblance of it. So I don't know if. See, what confuses me, and I got to see how they do it. Is
he came to Earth? Did his counterpart vanish?
That's what I'm wondering, because if his family's here, his family were taken out.
But what about him?
He was taken out too, actually.
No, I'm saying on this Earth. Are there now 2 of him?
No.
Remember, when everything happened, they removed him from his planet. Everything was wiped out. And then they started anew when Ollie fought the Anti-Monitor and created the new Big Bang.
And guess
so
what?
now
And you know
it's
what?
a whole new planet.
And you know what? He's not. He wasn't a paragon, so therefore he was there from the beginning. So that's how they excuse that. That's how they're going to do that, because he found out about everything when Martian Manhunter goes through and was telling everybody pertinent to say, "Hey, just so you know, boom." This is what
when Martian Manhunter was going around giving people the finger, it helped everybody know exactly what was going on.
A Martian finger and a keister will tell you a lot of things, Matt. He's like, I'm a Martian proctologist. And he's like, how's this going to jar my memory? I don't know, but here, just take this. It's like horrible.
Jesus.
But now what's kind of cool is that everybody is on Earth Prime. You're now going to have more opportunities for team ups, which is cool. With new shows like Stargirl and Superman coming in, your potential is that you could lose Black Lightning, and now he just guest stars on certain episodes of Flash or whatever. That could be okay. But also, though, I think they do a lot of like negative promotion to get people watching stuff because they were saying like Supergirl, oh, the ratings have dropped so seriously. Well, anybody on Sunday night is not watching a lot of TV. They're getting ready for work the next day.
Exactly.
And during The Walking Dead, nobody's watching anything but The Walking Dead. I mean,
I don't watch that shit. Fuck The Walking
nah,
Dead.
dude. Watch Lucifer.
Black people don't
Legrand's
do
in my
Satan
wife's
or
camp.
The Walking
What the
Dead.
fuck with this show?
Fuck with the show. Already dead. You know.
Exactly.
But Matt, if you haven't, and Bobby was telling us in the beginning of the show,
Everybody
on
smells
YouTube,
like crotch rot. Fuck 'em.
you can actually watch it on the CW.com or whatever it is, right? But watch Crisis on Infinite Earth. It was 5 episodes, and it was amazing. I think overall, Bobby, I know we had problems with certain things, but when we say
I'm still living at Legrand.
I'm sorry. Everybody smells like crotch rot on the show. I don't want to be there. I want to watch that.
You know, it's like, come on. This is our new world now.
Oh man, you're so hot. You smell like tuna that's been left out in the sun for 6 months. Fuck out of here.
Ollie couldn't fix that, you know.
Ain't nobody take a bath.
And I know. Why do you smell so bad? Because of how world collides. No, but would you say that overall though it was a very entertaining crossover?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Excessively.
There were so many awesome cameos, and like I said, I talked about this earlier. They finished up the Christopher Reeve storyline.
Yeah,
for me, that was worth the whole watch.
Yeah, it really, really was. I like how they do that.
Every time Brandon,
I just want to say something here too that I didn't say before.
Yeah.
They had this new Superman in there. They had Tom Welling in there. They had Brandon Routh in there.
Mm-hmm.
If what you call it wasn't so messed up with the gays, I know he would have been in there. Dean Cain would have been part of this series had he not fucked up and shot his mouth off at a convention somewhere.
Oh, did he? I don't know about this.
Yeah, he spoke out about LGBTQ shit and like
what in a negative format.
Dude, he went off on a super evil, ignorant tangent about
very anti-gay
and about Trump. He's a Trumper.
Oh.
And LGBTQ shit, and like he went off at the mouth, and the lesbians and the gays called him out on it big time. And if he hadn't said anything, I mean, despite his views, whatever he goes through or thinks, his thought process, if he had kept his mouth shut, he would have been part of this series, and I know it.
It's like when Kevin Sorbo lost his mind and started spouting his racist, ignorant stuff. And people started calling him out on it, and then all the Hercules things went away.
Yeah, but you know what though? I think it depends on how big of a star you are. Because Mel Gibson did the same thing, and he's going to be in another.
He went away.
He's going to be in another Lethal Weapon. He's not going away. He's going right back.
But if you look at it, when Mel Gibson
going to be in another Lethal Weapon,
what's that?
Do you know why he's going to be in another Lethal Weapon?
Probably because he needs money, I would think.
No, because he's paying for it.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he?
No. And legit, you know how much ass he had to kiss to get Danny Glover back involved?
Yep.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? One of the most successful TV series, or not TV, but movie series.
Movie franchise,
I should say. Yeah, I would kiss Glover's ass. Honestly. I didn't realize Glover's got a lisp. Did you know that?
I bet his response was, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
But he was
no.
Me and my wife like watching that America Undercover shit and stuff like that and unsolved mystery type stuff. And there was this one show we were watching, and at least for the first 6 episodes, he was a narrator. And I'm like, oh, she's like, oh, that's Glover. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm listening to him, and he's got a lisp like Dusty Rhodes. I mean, he's like got a major lisp.
Look, I love Danny Glover. I've
Yeah.
actually got to spend time with Mr. Glover,
Did you?
and yeah, this was years ago when
Did
he
he play-
got the Marion Anderson Award down in Philadelphia,
Okay.
in Center City. I was actually there with him, Maya Angelou, and
Oh.
Sonia Sanchez.
Nice.
And he didn't have the same speech pattern then that he does now. I think it was due to, I think the way he speaks now is
Right.
due to dental work that he had done.
Oh, you think that could be
Yes.
possible? Yeah, that could very well be possible.
Because I look at his smile now as
It's different.
compared to what it used to be, and it's not the
Oh,
same.
he's older. He probably had work done. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know. I mean, the guy
will
fought the
not-
Predator, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
You will not hear me say anything bad about Danny Glover.
But now let's move forward. Now, like we were saying in the beginning, how do they top what was probably one of the most amazing crossover series?
I'm
in this
telling you,
Arrowverse?
maybe each year they'll do a Justice League.
It would be kind of cool if they did a forming of the Legion of Doom, even though they did that already in what's name? The show I said it's kind of stupid. Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. But the difference is now you have all of the universes together. All the heroes are together, and now all the villains are together, and they have the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, you saw the
you-
table with all the seats around it. If you zoom in on those seats, there's an emblem on every seat.
Exactly. Now, if they want to do the Legion of Doom, you have Killer Shark now in the same as Bizarro, as the same as Solomon Grundy. You know, you can do that. Toy Man. You can bring them all together now.
All of which were around. Well, keep in mind, Solomon Grundy,
On Monday.
the Shark guy, and
King
King
Shark.
Shark. I don't think Toyman was. Was he on Supergirl?
King Shark was never part of the original.
No, but neither was Batwoman.
Villains of all time.
Yeah, but neither was Batwoman. She wasn't a Justice League person.
No.
But now she's going to fill in for Batman because they're not going to use Batman on there. But they're going to have Superwoman, Supergirl, and Superman on there, which is like, all right, how long is that going to last? You know.
Well, again, that goes to something else that messed up the whole storyline for me. First off, I talked about the No Green Lantern and how Hal Jordan was supposed to become the Spectre.
Right.
I talked about how Oliver Queen became the Spectre and died, basically.
Yes.
Okay. When in Crisis, it was supposed to be Flash and Supergirl.
Right.
Yes.
All right. The iconic Crisis poster is Kal-El holding Kara in that pose that so many people have stolen over the years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the poster I had on the wall as a kid, with the Flash running into nothingness.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Which
he
they
was
foretold.
everybody thought Barry Allen was dead.
Which they foretold throughout the entire Flash series
Right.
up until Crisis. And then they did the thing where they made him John Wesley Shipp instead.
Which in a way was kind of awesome because it gave us who loved him as the original Flash closure.
Yeah, because you remember they did a flashback of them together back in the 90s. Him and McGee. And I was like, that's really cool. Because he was a great Flash. The costume was phenomenal. You know. I liked him as Guy Gardner, though. Was that who he was?
Yes.
Yeah. I liked him as Guy Gardner, though, too. But I don't think we're going to see John Wesley Shipp come back anymore. I'll be surprised if we do.
I hope he gets his own show.
It would be great. It would be great. He's not going to see it, though. You're not going to see John. Yeah, you're not going to see that. If you get Stargirl, from what I understand, is going to be a lot of teenagers around her age. And I guess that'll be a creation of the Justice Society.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the Justice Society.
But are they going to enter? Are they going to be in the same universe? Well, they are as the Justice League. because the 7 that we got at the end of Crisis, that was not the Justice Society. That was a Justice League for all intents and purposes. It's a different lineup of heroes. You know what I mean? So that's going to be kind of weird to see how that works out. I also heard, but they didn't make any mention of here, that what's the name was supposedly a concept. Booster Gold.
Booster Gold, man. If they did Booster Gold, do you know how happy I would be? The Blue and Gold Express was my shit when I was a kid. I read that. They had their own, but they had this idea in their head, and this goes back to Martian Manhunter too. They had this idea in their head that between the two of them, they could put FedEx and UPS out of business. And they went around delivering packages. And it was amazing. And they delivered a case of Oreos to the Martian Manhunter, and it made him freak out because for some reason the Martian Manhunter is allergic to Oreo cookies, but he loves them. They're like crack to him.
Right.
So, but if they added Booster Gold has such an amazing backstory too. How he stole his costume from a museum that he was working in the future. He was like the cleanup guy.
He was a janitor.
Yes, and he was tired of having that bullshit life where he was also like a petty crook and a thief, and he wanted to do something awesome and be remembered. So he stole that suit and went back in time. His fucking another great origin story.
Yeah, and it's a comic. It's a comedy on top of everything else. Yeah. So it can be very lighthearted. It doesn't have to be this gloom and doom. Seeing him perhaps teaming up with Elongated Man, I think would be great. Because Elongated Man's very funny on The Flash.
But
absolutely.
You know.
No, he needs to be teamed up with the Blue Beetle.
Well, yeah, that's who he has to be. Yeah,
that was his partner forever.
That was his, but they got to create the Blue Beetle now.
Yeah,
yeah, they do.
Didn't they ever introduce Ted Cord one time? I think they introduced him one time
in Arrow.
Yes,
in Arrow.
Oh, okay.
So he does exist. When Felicity was with when what's name came in, when Ray Palmer came in.
Mm-hmm.
Cord Industries or something like that?
Yeah,
is his thing. Something happened where they had to go there and stuff like that. There was no Blue Beetle mentioning or anything like that. It was just him. Just like they mentioned Bruce Wayne in Arrow before and stuff like that. So there's a lot of potential for stuff. I have a feeling that
one thing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments is when Black Lightning was like, "Oh, Superman's for real?"
Yeah, that's true. Because when you watch the first episode of Black Lightning, right, they're like Supergirl comics and stuff like that. They're comic book characters.
Yeah,
they're not real characters.
Oh, Superman's for real?
It's the same thing with Ezra Miller's appearance. He's like, "What is it? Is this cosplay?"
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
That was great. I like your look so breathable. You know, it's like he's like, this is just really cool. You know. But and somebody was like, well, how was he there? And it's like, because he was in the Speed Force.
Right.
Yes.
He wasn't out inside. Now that's a whole other thing. Well, why was Ezra in the Speed Force? What happened with him? What was he doing? He didn't know anything about.
I seem to recall vaguely that there was a comic book where they met up, where he met himself in like this whole thing.
Which is cool. Now that also allows for the return of some other characters, like Kid Flash as an example.
Right.
For what?
Just to come back in.
Why?
Fill the void. I didn't like him either.
They're just gonna. I heard they're gonna add that character to Titans.
Kid Flash?
Yeah.
They could.
Okay.
They could. I mean, it can't be the same guy. It would have to be obviously a different actor and stuff like that. Because they had Aqualad on there for one episode, and then they killed him off.
Right.
But Titans season 2 was actually very good.
Or did they?
Right. Nobody ever stays. Nobody really stays dead.
Matt,
to go to another franchise.
Matt, besides Steve Perry from Journey, who was your favorite superhero when you were growing up?
You are such a dick.
No, a serious question. Besides Steve Perry, who was your favorite superhero?
Jesus Christ.
Superhero. What are you douchebag? Anyway, no, favorite superhero? Oh, jeez. I don't know. I think I would say that I was either Batman or Spider-Man. If I really think of, what I really watched, it was Batman and Spider-Man were my two ones. Because, I was obviously watching the Batman, TV show, Spider-Man and Batman comics book, cartoons on the weekends, Let me
ask you a question. When you were a kid, did anybody that was really important in your life pass away?
When I was very, very young. Yeah, I was about 4. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that was kind of the connection. I don't know.
Because those two characters both have a similarity. I always thought.
Yeah, but I just think I like them.
They
I think
became heroes because of that.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, I said that may subconsciously be part of it, but I always thought it was kind of cool because obviously, Batman, it's the whole thing of, he has no real superpowers. He's relying on, his millions to build gadgets and everything else. Then he relies on his wits and obviously, some combat skills. And Spider-Man, I always loved the fact that it was, he's just a regular dude who suddenly now he's got powers and,
I'll tell you,
do with it.
Spider-Man growing up, because of the red and blue costume, those were like my two favorite colors. And I responded to the coloring of the character first because I remember watching Spider-Man when I was like 3 years old because the old 1962 Spider-Man used to come on. Now, I can tell you this much. As he got older, I got more into him. There was one thing I remember watching Stan Lee talking about this, that they thought it was really cool that Spider-Man's a real person, like you're saying, because like he's fighting crime, he's chasing after a villain, and he runs out of web fluid. So he jumps on a bus to chase after the guy, but then gets thrown off the bus because he has no change on his costume. He has no pockets on his costume, so he can't carry any change, so he can't get on the bus. And that was a dilemma that they put Spider-Man in one comic, and I was like, that's really like unique. It's kind of interesting,
No, and again, Spider-Man again. He had to rely on his intellect a lot of times. Like I said, especially as you said in the comics, he would run out of web fluid. So it's like, when am I going to use my web? When am I not going to use my web? Because I got to, because I might need it later. So, he was, very cerebral in how he approaches stuff.
And I'll tell you, one of my favorite scenes involving Spider-Man, though, goes actually literally back to Homecoming, where he gets trampled by the Vulture, like the roof comes.
Yeah.
And the mask is off, and, he can't move, and he's starting to panic, and he's starting to cry, and he's like, help me. And you're watching this, and you're like, that's right. This he's a kid. He's not a man.
Right.
He's a kid, and he has to like get himself together. Like he sees his reflection with the mask in the water, and then he's like, that's right. I'm Spider-Man. Yeah. Let me try. And he calms down. But it's like, I love that dynamic. It's like, dude, just because he has powers doesn't mean he's mature. Doesn't mean like he's got all the answers. And I felt for him because I was like, he's so good. It was really funny because a friend of mine.
That's why the little dick gave the fucking glasses to the bad guy in the damn movie.
Dumbass! I know, and they were cool glasses on top of it too.
Right?
Yeah, right. I like them. So now, the cool thing about that is too, with him, I was like watching the shows, and I saw that, and I said, it's really, really cool how he does that, and like you said, he forgets. Somebody was posting, they said on social media, they're like, oh, what were some of the most influential people that we lost this year? And people were putting, who was at the time? Like Robin Williams.
It's so important you can't remember.
I know. Exactly. Well, what did you hear what I posted? They were like, oh, Robin Williams. And then they were like, oh, so-and-so. And, oh, how about David Bowie? And oh, this person, I put Peter Parker in Infinity War. Right? 'Cause I said that was the most influential death of 2018 for me. I said I cried my eyes out when that happened. I was like,
So last year would have been somebody's
most
first.
heartbreak.
yeah.
I know. I posted after I saw it on like Facebook or whatever. It's like most heartbreaking line ever from a movie. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
I know, right? Which, by the way, was an ad lib from Tom Holland. That whole scene was ad lib,
I read
which
that, yeah.
made that just so much better because he played off on it like, once again, I'm a kid. I know I can't handle what's happening right now, and I'm looking at you, Dad, because that's how he looked at Tony as a
Right.
dad figure. Like I need you to hold me. I don't want to die. I'm a kid. It was so overwhelming in that sense, and I thought that was like really, really amazing on Tom Holland's part. That's what really made him my favorite Spider-Man of the three that we had so far in the movies.
Now
I
we're going
didn't
to
like
get
Garfield.
You didn't like Garfield? Garfield was okay.
Now we're going to get all
sucked.
three back together. They're going to do a live action Spider-Verse movie, and you're going to get
Is
all.
that going to be part of 2?
I'm not sure.
Because I know 2 is coming out, but it's coming out in like 22, I think.
But they're
Or
talking
something like
about
that.
bringing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man, and
Sure,
Tom
sure.
Holland's all in the same movie.
Well, you know why? Because we're going to get into the madness of the multiverse or whatever from Doctor Strange, which is going to open a lot of things up. They also said that heavily you're going to have to watch WandaVision because that's going to tie heavily into Doctor Strange as well.
Which is still, by the way, the only Marvel movie I've never seen.
Which one?
Doctor
Doctor Strange?
Yep.
Oh, what a great movie! Visually amazing. Cumberbatch is awesome in that role. And they do a very good, legitimate origin story for Doctor Strange. They really do. Really, really great movie to watch.
It's just one I just never got to see.
Yeah, definitely. Set aside time and watch it. It's a great trippy movie.
I know movie. I remember when it came out. The first thing I think is he's probably of everybody of the the major Marvel characters. He's probably the one character I had the least knowledge about. So I remember whenever as all the Marvel movies were coming out, and I said to him like, hey, with Infinity War coming up,
yeah,
do I need to see this? I
Right.
Because I'm not really familiar with the character. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like it, whatever. And Dan said, yeah, just check it out. Obviously, it's going to give you a better base of reference for Infinity War, as far as at least get it for the background of the character.
And in hindsight, look how influential he was in Infinity War.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I mean,
you know what I mean?
I've never been a huge Doctor Strange fan. I always thought he was a ripoff of
enjoyed
Doctor
it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
I figured I was going into it just like, okay, I want to get some background on the character. I want to be more or less know who the character is and what he can do. And at the end of the movie, I was like, that was a lot better than I was expecting it to be.
Really was. Really. LeGrand, favorite superhero?
Shadowhawk.
That's the son of was it John Stewart and Hawk Girl?
No, that's Warhawk. Shadowhawk was a comic that was out years ago. He was a cop who was crippled, and the mob gave him AIDS, and he was it was deep. And his a friend of his on the force taught him how to fight and helped him create his suit, and he sought vengeance. He looks kind of like Wolverine, only shinier.
I mean, it sounds like Joe from Family Guy and Tommy Morrison from Rocky V.
Oh God!
Hey guys, I hate to drop out, but my phone's about to die here. So
okay, well, Matt, you can join here on the DJB Productions Network on Have You Seen It Lately? Which I haven't seen it lately, so we got to get some shows.
We haven't seen it lately. we're still trying to figure out how we're going to revamp that.
So that's coming up. You're going to see him on DJs After Dark, obviously, and Matt's editing this show here over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Dick.
Yeah.
I've been voluntold, huh?
Voluntold.
You got that this weekend in there too.
Yeah, you like that, right? I'm not waiting until next
I
month.
expect it up by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Have a great night. Hope your phone stays on. Hope nobody needs you.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, you could plug your phone in while you're on here. I'm just
not
saying.
really. My charger won't reach.
I'm sure you have an extension cord down there in the Carolinas.
You're breaking my balls now. You're breaking my balls.
Now go sit on the other couch.
Bob's
Bob's been moving around this entire fucking episode for an hour and a half. Has been moving all over his apartment. I want you to move around. The fuck?
Dear God.
I've been putting up with that all
I knew this was coming.
an hour and 20 an hour and 20 minutes. I've been watching this guy walk around as I'm trying to talk.
You're lucky I didn't go piss.
Live from the bathroom. Bobby T.
The acoustics in here are amazing.
This looks like this will be my hall of justice.
Bob Taylor live from your shower.
The Fortress of Solitude.
It would be great to see a Bob like peeing, right? And he's looking at his mirror while he's peeing with the phone, and he's got a Captain Chaos mask on. How awesome would that be? Look, he's going right now.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm only going because LeGrand said something, and because this episode involves Smallville, I'm going to show you guys something that is really cool.
Oh, cool. It's an exclusive.
This is the key to the Fortress of Solitude from Smallville.
Look at that. How cool is that?
Oh, my God.
Where'd you pick that up from, Bob?
My brother. I also have in my basement an actual one of the 4 used chairs from the USS Enterprise from the original series.
Oh, nice.
My brother Bobby at one time worked for a backlot at Paramount Studios, and he would send me everything he could get his hands on. That's awesome. That's an actual show used movie.
Does the chair smell like Captain Kirk?
It smells like funk.
I would imagine William Shatner was farting up a storm in that studio.
It was being thrown away. It's in such dilapidated.
He said it like this: engage, engage.
Right, guys, I'm out. I have an actual machete.
All right, Matt. Take care, man.
Matt, thank you very much. Join Matt on the thing here. Best of the family there.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. It's good to have you on the show here. Glad you participated.
Thanks for having me.
Try watching the show, and then you can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, well, and it'll be up by tomorrow, right?
It'll be up tomorrow morning?
I'll have it up by 6:05 a.m.
6:05. Yes, thank you very much. 6:05.
All right, good night, guys.
Best of luck. All right, buddy. You have a time schedule. All right.
Jesus.
Matt Sunner, everybody, how fantastic that was. I love bringing him on when he has nothing to do with the show whatsoever, because it's just like he's like a deer in the headlights. He's like,
what the hell are they talking
I have
about?
no idea what they're talking. I was watching This Is Us when that was happening. You know, it's like, but overall, once again, I think Crisis was good. It was kind of cool they did it in the way they did it, so we got that Infinity War Endgame feel to it. I don't think Ollie had to die twice. I think dying once would have been just fine, and dying at the end, not dying in the second
halfway through, and then
because that whole thing of him becoming the Spectre there the way they did it, it was very wasteful. In him dying, going through the Lazarus pit, not having a soul, but yet he was able to talk to that guy and become the Spectre.
Right.
You're supposed to be like this wild animal because you had no soul, but yet you could talk to him only and you. But it didn't make any sense to me. But that was
remember when he was there, that was the soul. The body was still back on.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. That's cool. I can see that. That explains that away. So, fuck what I just said in the last 5 minutes. But I thought it was good. I thought we got a lot of character time. just to give some really cool honorable mentions in there. In the first episode, I didn't realize it was him too. The guy that played in the '89 Batman played the reporter Knox.
Yeah,
Robert
Wall, who was recently on Family Guy just a couple episodes ago.
Burt Ward.
Doing an evening with Burt Ward was great. It was, what else did we have? Robert Wall, we had Burt Ward, we had John Wesley Shipp, we had Brandon Routh.
You can say Brandon Routh just because of the fact that he played Superman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly.
Even though he's a legend.
You spoke about giving Christopher Reeve closure, but it gave Brandon Roth Superman closure as well. Even though we it was intended to be the same person. Yes. I mean, granted, every Superman is supposed to be the same person, but that literally was intended to be the same person because he really did look like Christopher Reeve a lot.
When he came on screen as Clark Kent and then as Superman initially, you had to.
Yeah,
I believed it was Christopher Reeve.
So did I. So did I. If it wasn't for the costume,
right?
If he had Christopher Reeve's costume on, I would have shit myself.
And it's kind of funny too. If you look in that final thing, because they fixed, based on what happened, they kind of fixed Kingdom Come, because he no longer was the Kingdom Come Superman.
Right.
All that stuff didn't happen on this Earth Prime, but they gave him a closer rendition to Christopher Reeve's Superman costume than Superman Returns.
Right.
The Superman Returns was a smaller S, and that's the one.
If you look at the belt, it was like the same belt.
Yeah. But the Returns costume is what they used for Tom Welling on Smallville.
Right.
He ended up getting that costume and never wore it though because he
ain't get shit. They CGI'd it on him and then put him on a green screen flying somewhere.
Well, that's because of the director of that show.
Yeah.
It was the same dude who directed Wild Wild West with
Will Smith and.
I don't know if you ever heard the story about that, but originally Kevin Smith was supposed to write a Superman movie.
Yes.
And the guy said to him, he's like, okay, I don't want to see him fly. I don't want to see him in the costume, and I want to see a giant spider in the third act.
I know. What is that?
And that's why you got that giant spider in Wild Wild West. It was the same dude who wrote.
And he didn't get it for that Superman movie because the Superman movie was ended up being destroyed because they ended up the spider was going to be Brainiac.
Yes.
In the end of that movie, I don't know about you, but Cage as Superman was a horrible look. Horrible. For me. He's balding.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He talks like Elvis. I mean,
he don't look like He don't look like him.
No, at all.
But
he doesn't look anything like him.
His own money into it. That's why it would have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a huge Superman fan. I mean, he has like 10 Action Comic #1s.
He named his kid Kal-El, for Christ's sake. Yeah, so good for him. Fucker. Fuck you, Coppola.
Jesus.
But did Talia Shire's his aunt, I think, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's getting a National Treasure 3, by the way. That's coming out. They're starting to work on that now.
More treasure.
I didn't see nothing in the bed.
I didn't see the first two, so I'm like, I really don't.
National Treasure 3, more treasure.
More treasure. I found Perkins.
First one was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
I always hear good things about it. I never watched it.
I can't if you're not from Philadelphia.
Yes. Okay.
Because if you're from Philadelphia, you can't run out of Independence Hall and into Reading Terminal.
So you're calling bullshit on the whole movie.
Pretty much.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when Ollie died, and I was like, "Stop it, you son of a bitch!" But it was nice they gave him a tear. I'm trying to keep his show on track. LeGrand, I'll tell you, we never stay on track with our shows. But moonshine.
No, it's water. It's water.
They're like boons, right?
It's like moonshine.
That's what I was saying. I thought it was like some boons.
No, this is water.
You get the tier, but now here you go. You don't get any kind of closure on the future the future kids that came back. And not for nothing. And I realized she got off the show, but you get no closure for Felicity, other than hearing that she's still around.
Right.
But she's not not on the show.
But that leaves open doors for other shit to happen.
Well, sure it does.
Right.
But through all this, he didn't want to go see his wife again one more time. I realized he made this pact and that he was going to sacrifice himself. He knew it was happening.
Dude, each show is more than half an hour.
Yeah, it is. But our show right now,
and they had to wrap this whole season up in 5 shows because there's one per show. They can't add everything in there.
No, I get it. But overall, I liked it.
And it leaves a little bit of mystique. It's got you thinking.
Yeah. I'm hoping we get a little bit more out of Batwoman in season 2. Because let's talk real quick before we end the show. Let's talk real quick about the what?
No.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for an hour and a half. No.
Batwoman. We want to see more? Yes.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
I'm over the whole family drama that she's having in all season 1. Now I want her to fight people, just in general. Okay. Flash, keep the course, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Especially now that Arrow's ending, you can't get rid of the Flash. They were the first 2 shows.
Yeah. And Flash, I think, is actually the most popular of all the shows.
I agree with that too because it has a campiness to it. Green Arrow, it's a little more of a dark drama.
Well, we said it many times. They couldn't get a hold of
Batman with a bow. So yeah,
they couldn't get Batman, so they got him. Next best thing.
Right.
All right.
And then
next,
Supergirl.
Put the skirt back on her.
I agree.
She likes the pants because they film in Canada and it's cold.
And it's cold. I understand that and I appreciate that, but
I like
Supergirl had the skirt.
I like her in the skirt. I do. She's hot. I love her so much. She's so hot. Black Lightning.
Don't be so black, right, Dan?
Don't be so black. Be kind of tan.
I just think that still needs some super villains. That's
Caramel Lightning.
It has a chance if they add super powered beings into that show.
Now we have the opportunity that he can actually get some other villains crossing over because we have the hero crossovers, but we very rarely have the villain crossover.
I'm telling you, I think once a year they're going to do a Justice League reunion. They'll have all these individual shows, and the crossover once a year. Each year will be the Justice League fighting something where everybody needs to band together.
Yes, I think Anissa needs to get her shit together because she's annoying me, even though she's hot. But she doesn't listen to Jefferson. She don't listen to Jefferson at all. She's a pain in the ass. And his wife's a druggie. I don't know if they reset that, but you think that? But here we go. Here's a valid question.
No.
With this thing, could Black Lightning's boring ass storyline be reset?
Now
it's only boring to you.
Very boring.
It's now because he's in a different.
I don't like it. But I was fast forwarding. Come on, stop it.
It can be reset now though because he's in a different universe.
Yeah, right.
I think everybody, because it's going into a new season, could be rebooted in a sense.
All right, Legends of Tomorrow. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
They're doing the same shit, and I wish they wouldn't, but they're doing the same shit. They really don't have a villain.
Interest to me once Arrow and Flash left that series.
Which one?
Legends of Tomorrow. It's a show I only watch when there's a crossover.
Yeah. And they're generally not in the crossovers for the most part. That's like the whole running joke was there was a crossover. We were invited,
The part that got me is when they killed off the Hawk Girl and all the she was hot. She was smoking.
She was, dude. Ramon was trying to get with that.
Everybody was trying to get with that.
Hawkman was pretty cool too. His rendition of Hawkman, but also too they went against what's his face, who was a great villain. He's probably one
Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage. I think he's such a great villain.
Vandal Savage is awesome. He's been around since the beginning of time.
You know what I mean? I think I would want to bring him back and have him lead have him lead the Legion of Doom, like he was. Well, actually, no, they had Damien Dark leading the.
Well, here's the thing: depending upon which incarnation, Vandal Savage was leading the Legion of Doom, and then he got double crossed by Lex Luthor and Grodd, and
Yes. And John Cryer doing a great job as Lex Luthor, by the way.
Absolutely
I thought he did
fantastic.
a great job as Lex Luthor. He's so enjoyable to watch, and it's just so awesome. I was like, fantastic.
I still can't. I don't buy him with. I like him as Lex Luthor. I like him as an evil guy. I don't like the beard.
Not a little goatee thing. You're not digging it.
It's not a goatee; it's a full beard. The one thing that
that's right.
before I cut you off, the one thing I really would have liked to have seen is if they could have got Gene Hackman to play Luthor from another world.
That would have been great. What a good tie-in that would have been.
That would have been so awesome, especially with Kingdom Ralph.
You have Gene Hackman and Cryer screaming for Tessmacher at the same time.
Because even though it's a stretch with Brandon Roth being the attachment to the Christopher Reeve Superman, you don't have a Christopher Reeve Superman tie-in to Crisis.
Well, Rosenbaum denied it. They offered him a role, and he turned it down.
Oh yeah,
turned it down flat. Said he didn't want to do it.
Or they could have at least gotten what's his face that played Jimmy in the Christopher Reeve Superman, the Christopher Reeves Jimmy. Yeah. He does like shit on Hallmark. He's like fucking.
Oh jeez. All right, that's enough.
That's enough of that.
We're
Guys,
done.
if you haven't seen it, go on the CW and watch Crisis on Infinite Earths. What a great crossover. And let me tell you something. If you haven't watched these shows before, if you watch Crisis, I think you'll start watching them now. Is that a safe bet? I think.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So I think it's a great thing for us to watch. It's a great
show. I'm not going to watch Legends.
Hats off to you guys, because let me tell you something. Your movies are not doing very well, but your television is off the hook.
Absolutely.
I'll absolutely say it.
Yeah.
Now, we got other stuff we're going to be talking about on Caves Not Included coming up. Bobby T, I know you're going to come back on another episode and
absolutely
do some BS with us. LeGrand's going to be here. We're trying to get Lily Hernandez on here. Her schedule's so horrible, but she's such a beautiful geek, and we need that on the show. Between Matt and Bob and walking around stuff, I need a nice looking girl on here. So we got Lily Hernandez coming on, hopefully soon. LeGrand, chocolate love. Look at him right there. He's fantastic.
Telling you, man.
He's like, I'm telling you. Ratings. Guys, hit the notification bell down below. Make sure you're subscribing. Share the channel as well. There's a lot of great shows on here, including Caves Not Included. We got DJs After Dark. That Way Cool Wrestling Show. Have you seen it lately? Bobby T hosting New Comic Book Wednesdays. What a great show that is as well.
Every Wednesday live from Atomic City Comics in South Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's every Wednesday.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Great show.
Every Wednesday, as soon as he gets it up, I get it up on the channel, and we share it across all the social medias and stuff. So make sure you're checking that out as well. If you're on Facebook, go to New Comic Book Wednesdays and hit the like button over there as well. That way you can see all the different stuff. They have a lot of really cool admins on that page, and they show up a lot of really cool stuff. So you're going to want to do that as well.
Yep.
So for Bobby, for LeGrand, my name is Dan, and for Matt, who's got to edit this show now. My name is
6:05 in the AM.
6:05. Watch it. It's going to be on tomorrow. For those guys, my name is Danny J. Until next time, keep your nose to the wind and your cape. What did I always say? Keep your cape in the wind and your eyes to the stars. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
You ain't never said that.